At least we tried.
Yeah, and I remember showing you one of my lesser runs when I did the Vader, Han, and Death Trooper squad, and I had Pow in there, and I remember you were like, "What is Pow doing with all those dirty Empire people?"
Yeah, man, you can't mix up POW with those horrible Empire characters.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today I have a special guest with me. His name is Rise of the Bone, and if you guys haven't heard of him, he has a small YouTube channel. You guys should definitely go check it out. There's a link to it down below in the video description. Stop by. He's got some pretty cool Star Wars Galaxy Heroes videos so far, but today I'm bringing him on because he's got some Phase 3 teams that he's been working on called the Entrail Mix teams. So please, everybody welcome Rise of the Bone.
Hey, McMullen, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Glad to finally have you on. We've been talking about this for, what, 2-3 weeks?
Oh, at least,
trying
yeah.
to get you on here.
It's really cool to finally connect and get to collaborate on something.
Yeah, and in case you guys are wondering, no, you're not hallucinating. He is literally outside recording right now. He's probably the first Galaxy Heroes YouTuber to have an outside studio.
That's right.
And, yeah. So you're going to probably hear some natural sounds, some birds, maybe some horses in the background. Don't worry about it. It's all natural. So for those of us who don't know anything about you, Rise of Bone, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I started a YouTube channel at the end of last year. I've been playing the game pretty hardcore for, I'd say, about a year and a half now. I'm really interested in the theory crafting side, and that's kind of where I really got into watching your videos. And I love the raids, and so this was just a logical next step. So I'm here in sunny California, Los Angeles. Got my pet Rancor here, and I don't know the oboe player's name, but he looks pretty cool. So.
Yeah, you've got quite a little awesome studio set up for you already.
Yeah, it's really a blessing to be able to do this outside.
All right, so you're bringing footage of these teams you called the Entrail Mix teams, and I gotta ask, where did that name come up with? Where did you come up with that name for this team?
Well, I was first looking at the Chex Mix teams, and then I was like, well, this is an excellent format for future teams to run in P3, because a lot of the time, you'll be doing your Chex Mix, and if you get a decent run and you log it early, you're kind of sitting there waiting for the rest of the guild, and in a way, you're kind of losing points if you're trying to work towards top 10 or top 3, whatever it is. And so I was always kind of like, I wonder if I could find a team that could get another million, another 1.5 million, even 600 to 800,000 would be okay. So Entrail Mix, Chex Mix, it kind of made me think of other trail mix, and then I was like, Entrail Mix. They're sort of the entrails of your squad. You've already used the best people, Death Trooper, Han Solo, so now it's like time to dig through and try to find whatever leftovers you can scramble together to give you something, for this run.
Right. So you've been using a couple different leads like Boba Fett and Count Dooku, and you've had some varying successes with them, especially under the Count Dooku lead, isn't that correct?
Yeah, I love the Dooku lead for 2 reasons. One, he adds evasion to all the characters, so it still is just an RNG cluster, but it gives Visa some evasion possibilities so that she can possibly dodge some of the sabers and doesn't counter, so she can hang around a little bit longer and whack Traya with a few more hits.
Now, going over these characters used in these teams, I mean, ever since I've used Visas with her and Jedi Training Rey in Phase 1, it's just like, ugh, I don't think I can put her anywhere else. But, I mean, if you miss out on Phase 1, you've got to use her in Phase 3 at least.
That's exactly true. And there have been a few times where, I've been at the store or something, and I'm like, oh, crap, we're ready in Phase 2, and Phase 1 can go pretty quickly once the guilds, get used to it all.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've got Jedi that are another viable Phase 1 team, we've got a couple of different teams now to use in Phase 1. So there is, it's gonna start going quicker now for people to chew through Phase 1, because now we don't have to just rely on Jedi Training Rey, which is nice.
yeah, so Anakin was always the backup to Pow. If people didn't have Pow geared up, Pow is obviously much better. He will always give offense up every single time you press his ability.
See, now I wish I had my POW shirt on for this conversation since we're talking so highly about POW.
Hey,
I mean, everybody knows I love POW.
that's true. And you were definitely the guy that turned me on to Pow. Especially after I tried Anakin a few times and realized that he needs to crit in order to trigger the offense up.
It's crazy. POW has a use. Who would ever guess that?
It's amazing. But he works really well, and he has a great base offense. So
We've talked about using the Dooku and the Boba Fett leads. You've actually been trying out Enfys Nest in one of these Entrail Mix teams as well. And how's that going for you? How successful has that team been?
well, the Nest team is probably even more aggravating, just because Nest has a great set of counters, just like Visas, and he has, or sorry, she has excellent survivability. So there's really no need to worry about her dying. You know, she's probably going to be the last person standing every single time. But again, it's just the RNG and just trying to get this going. I have not gotten the scores. I did have one run, which we can look at, which I was able to get over 900,000, but I've tried a few other times with Nest, and it's more in the 400 to 500,000 range.
Yeah. I mean, that's still admirable. I mean, those runs take, like, what, 1 to 2 minutes? Maybe 3 minutes?
Exactly. Very, very.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of these mixed teams is with Chex Mix and now these Entrail mixed teams that you're finding, these teams all take just, there's a few attempts at RNG, but once you get things going, the run's over in 3 minutes max, and you've got at least 500,000 damage to your name now. It's going to help boost your scores in the Sith Raid.
Yeah, and that can really make a difference by the end, you know, especially depending on your guild and where everyone is scoring. You know, 500,000, you could be scrambling for those points at the very end, and I've definitely been there.
Right, and I mean, it can't be stressed enough. These are characters you're not going to really use in many other areas. I mean, like you said, Boba Fett now uses bounty hunters, but Count Dooku, we're not going to use him anywhere else. Same with Night Sister, Acolyte, no, Initiate, still can't remember which one's which, Anakin, Enfys Nest, now we may have a use for her in the raid, but yeah, most of these characters are ones that we're not going to use very often, and that's what you're saying with the Entrail Mix team, and the name of that.
Exactly, and I think that's, you know, it's sort of the misfit kind of crew, you know, your classic Mighty Ducks scenario. But Nest is, of course, very useful. I know that a lot of people invested in Nest, and they were like, I'm putting, you know, a lot of resources, and they were, you know, looking at this as an arena thing. But I'm positive that she has possibility for this raid, and anytime that we get one of these great countering tunes, you know, I automatically think, oh, there's another mix we could run.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't stress that enough. A lot of people invested in Enfys Nest because they saw just how strong she is, and you had even non-whales wailing out to get her to 7 stars.
Absolutely.
I mean, there was a lot of people that chased after her to get her upgraded through those vaults. So now we have a use for her in the raid, so that, you know, you're gonna get a full return on that investment now, because now you have a use for her in the raid, which is usually where our star requirements come into play.
Yeah, that's right. I think I've used Nest successfully on one of the new Scoundrel teams, but you know, now there are so many of them, and they take a lot of Zetas and a lot of bayonets, and you know, it's gonna be, that's a long grind to get that team going. So
yeah, that's those Scoundrels. Oof.
Yeah,
I love them, but man, they are garbage in arena.
Oh yeah, they're definitely the glorified Phoenix.
Yeah, I hear some birds get a little chattery in their background.
I don't know. It might be a small child, but no, I think those are birds.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to cover with these Entrail Mix teams?
Yeah, I would. I think that one of the most difficult things is to figure out where and when to start them off. They're definitely not a super powered team like Chex Mix, where you have CLS, Han, where Chirrut, you know, you can take down the sabers, you can topple, you know, even if you didn't stand alone, you could probably topple Traya several times with that powerful team. This team, not so much. You know, they have some power, and even with all that offense, I don't know. It's just one of those things where if you get the bad start, you're dead in the water.
Range Trooper, you know, he gives himself retribution. He has bonus tenacity too. I think he gives himself what, bonus 70% tenacity.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
on his unique
bonus 70%.
Yeah,
tenacity.
so yeah, and he has an attacker tag, doesn't he?
He does, and
not that it really matters.
It's a very potent attack, and you know he has pretty good offense. His crit chance is not low.
Yeah, I mean I'm pulling up my Range Trooper right now to take a look at his kit, but I'm pretty sure that yeah, I mean the attack deals 30% bonus damage if he has a buff on him. He's going to be giving himself retribution. He gets a lot of bonus tenacity. It's going to be hard to dispel and place debuffs on him. So, do you think he's going to be a viable character to use in the entrail mix in the future?
I think so, in a different way, because I've experimented using Imperial Troopers in Phase 3, and they're very, very capable, you know, between Stark and Snow Trooper, they're very capable of taking down Traya very, very quickly. And now with Range Trooper adding retribution to everybody, it's incredibly easy for them to counter and to assist and double assist and everything like that. So I've had a few runs where I was able to topple her about 5 or 6 times, and the way to do that is to launch a standalone in the middle, because that will reset the bonds, and then you can go a little bit longer.
Alright, so is there anything else you want to talk about with this?
I can't immediately think of it.
Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you all have any questions or comments, feel free to ask down below. Again, definitely go check out Rise of the Bones channel. There's a link to it down below. You guys should definitely go check it out, subscribe to his channel, and keep an eye out for more stuff there, because, like he said, he's going to be running more of these entrail mix teams, and he's going to be doing some other fun theory crafting stuff, so definitely a channel you guys should keep an eye on and subscribe to. But that is it for this video. Thanks again to all of my patrons for their monthly donations, and I will talk to you guys later.